Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Because I am always the impatient one, I will first say, how are you all doing? I hope well. Yeah,
Super
Good.
awesome.
Hope you're doing well, Chaz.
Fantastic.
fantastic. And then let's jump right in. So, what I think we will do is we'll kind of do Morn's little side story quickly. So Morn, if you remember, the last time you met, you and the rest of your party were kind of hanging out with the best, the greatest, the only Peter. You were at the restaurant and you paid his bill because he was sweeping in order to pay off a tab that he could not afford. And through that conversation, you found that a duke was in trouble, and that perhaps you could help this duke as some sort of pop quiz, I think was the consensus.
Yeah, like extra credit.
Extra credit type thing, because you all were kind of in the shits since you didn't actually accomplish the goal that was the killing of the zombie.
And we let that stupid, snotty guy do it instead.
Yes. Unfortunately,
Sounds like a trick.
Morn was not quite feeling this, and especially losing out on a chance to commune with the darkness. And so while everyone else went to the party, or went with Peter, you went home and just had your commune with darkness time.
Hey, sounds good.
Or as it has come to be known, sock time.
Sucked. Astrid, did you leave Eos with Morn? Remind me, I don't remember.
I took. What is it? I guess I left Eos with Morn.
Okay. So that night, Eos, the chicken, who was friend, not food, just kind of hung out with you. Is there any specific way you wanted to commune with the darkness, or was it just a general look up at the moon and absorb the darkness?
You're talking to me? Sorry.
Yeah.
I wasn't. It'd probably be a general look up at the moon, absorb the darkness.
Tonight, the darkness seems either the darkness is different, or you are absorbing it differently. And you get the feeling that you can not only use it to empower your abilities, you can also manifest it and use it as projectiles, or you have a better command of the darkness now.
Okay, fantastic.
But you spend the night doing that. Eos kind of looks at you, and every once in a while she kind of pecks at your feet, not painful, just kind of look at me, pay attention. And then you go to sleep and you wake up and your friends are not there.
Where'd everybody go?
No signage.
Okay. So they didn't tell me where they were going. I was just so lost in the darkness that I didn't notice that everyone left.
The last thing you know is that you were all at the restaurant. They were going to follow Peter, and you were like, nah, I'm going home.
Okay.
You do know they were going to the Duke's house, or the Duke's, wherever the Duke is.
Okay. What would Morn do? Well, Morn is probably pretty pleased about this sense of profound darkness, but not too pleased.
Right.
that's not dark enough. Like a nice level of these. I guess he will go investigate the Duke's house, see if he can find everybody. He feels eager to kind of test out
Okay.
darkness.
Yeah, just give me an investigation check to see if you can find where the Duke is staying.
Oh, come on, Astral. 1 second, my computer is freezing.
No problems at all.
Okay. It's not Astral's crashing for me. I might have to reload. I can just do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, let's do some good old dices. Do you know this thing?
13.
13? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a pretty easy roll. Like, you don't see a lot of dukes, and this particular duke is fairly famous. He was once like a graduate of the school and pretty well known. And so you're directed to this fairly fancy, like bed and breakfast. You know, not someplace you think a duke would stay, but you know, has some like charm to it. And down there, the duke's like, "Oh, hi. How are you doing? Are you also a student of the school?"
Yes, I am. I am a student. I'm looking for my. What do you call it? So, if you were at the school and you were all just kind of housing together, would you just say like my roommates or like, you know what I mean?
So I've been using cohort. One, just because that's what I'm used to, and two, because like you're more than roommates. Like you are all like working together as some kind of like team unit. So you could say my team, my unit. Oh,
I don't know if Warren would go right out and say my friends.
yeah.
You know? Yeah,
The people I'm forced to be around with.
Yes. Yes, I'm okay. So I'm looking for my cohort. Have you seen them?
Well, was there one kind of child and another Vieira, and then a Jeremy? I forgot a Rogadin.
Yeah, Rogadin.
Rogadin, yeah, and a Rogadin. Are those your?
Just gonna kind of think about it. Like counting each other, trying to. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you see, there's a look of
usually
like
very loud.
Yeah. So your team came to my house last night. They were with Peter, who's supposed to be showing me around. I don't know where he is though. Are you looking for them? Or I guess you did say that. Well, let me see how smart he is, because if I remember correctly, you all didn't come out and say we're going to your house.
I thought we did, because he was like explaining how the guards had risen up and tossed him out, and so we were going to go take care of the guards. Despite that being not the case.
If I remember correctly, Peter, you I think specifically were like, we're gonna do it, and Peter would like jumped in front of you and was like, we should do this secretly.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So then let's find out if he even knows what's going on. Nope. He's like,
Dukes.
well, they could be in class at this point. If you can find Peter, I'll tell you what I'll do. I do have a spell that can find Peter. So I will cast that, and I'm pretty sure because apparently Peter is your mentor now. Is that true?
Yes.
Peter, which one's Peter?
Peter was the one who you found like begging because he couldn't afford to pay the bill, and then you paid for him, and then he was like,
no. Only the darkness is my mentor.
I mean, I know Lindsay wasn't there, but was
Nothing
Morn
more.
there to witness Peter teaching Trogheim?
We're going to say no. Morn left pretty early.
That's fair.
Morn was like, I have no time for this. And so with that, the Duke's like, well, the darkness is a better teacher than Peter. All right, give me about 10 minutes, and I will see if I can locate him for you. And so he does his ritual spell, and at the end you see this look of concern on his face. It was like, your friends, are they the type of people who would get information about some place being dangerous and then randomly decide to go there anyway?
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh,
And my cohort.
your
My
cohort.
friends.
I
Or just my
apologize.
friends.
Your cohort. You know what? Let's go. We need to go to my mansion right now.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you
follow.
follow.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was a little unsure about it, but he'll follow.
Okay, so the Duke is like pushing through, and you recognize this like route pretty quickly. It's the way to the teleportation circle. Like you did it multiple times. And he gets there, and you see he's first of all the first person who's not a professor that you've seen like with the ability to use it. But you see him like altering the runes and like drawing some things, and he's like, "Jump on! We need to go to mansion right away."
Let's go.
Alrighty, so you jump on, you feel a familiar teleportation feeling. Back to the other group. So you are standing in the Duke's armory.
Yeah.
With a majestic ass mace in the center. And I believe you figured out what it was. It was a mace of disruption.
Yeah, I think Astrid did.
Yeah. An ancient duo.
I feel like I was checking it out. No, maybe both of us were.
Somebody that was not Trogheim, that's all I know.
An ancient religious weapon, and religion is odd here. What do you do?
I'm going to poke it.
Okay. Roll me a d20.
Sure.
Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, dexterity saving throw? Sure, why not? What could go wrong?
Okay. So you poke it, and nothing happens. But, like, if something happened, you would have been able to, like, dodge out of the way.
Gotcha. Did I, like, feel any, like, pulse of energy, or did it do anything, or did it just, like, stay inert?
Give me Arcana check. Yeah.
Hey, the dice might be nice today. Let's find out.
Interesting.
Huh.
There was a slight pulse of energy.
Okay.
But it's not one you're super familiar with. The only like real energies you're familiar with are the fire, the lightning, the thunder, and those because like Uso in a magazine of Gunbreaker Monthly said she came out with these extra bullets, and so you're like different types of bullets means different types of like killing. That's great. This energy seems different.
So I'm going to as nonchalantly as possible just be like, oh, it's nothing big, there's no big deal, but I'm not going to touch it again. I'm not really feeling all that great, and I will step aside and let someone who knows magic, but I'm not going to say that.
Right.
Because obviously Don't want to go down that road.
I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes doing augury as a ritual by laying out a spread of cards.
Yep.
Gonna see if I can't like read this object's I guess potential future to see where it sits in the what is the distance or the time in the next 30 minutes. So exploring its kind of its presence the next 30 minutes. Does it read as like a good thing or a bad thing? Does it have like, where does it usually seem to like resonate, I suppose?
Gotcha. Okay, so you all see Uo pop out the cards and start like placing them in a what kind of format this time?
It's in the shape of the mace.
Gotcha.
And just kind of reading along the weapon shape.
Okay, so while you're doing that, Astrid, what are you doing in this like 10 minutes it's going to take for this ritual to cast?
Well, I'm thinking Celine is going. I'm going to walk around with little Celine, and we're going to, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to pick it up.
Oh.
I'm going to pick up the mace.
Dragon cringes and like closes her eyes, waiting for like something to explode.
I'm gonna pick up the mace and try and attune to it.
Interesting. Okay. So you pick it up, and it's there's some weirdness to it. As you sit down, Uo, are you going to continue your ritual or are you going to like stop?
Well, I'm definitely going to continue now because now it's like it's in real time. Like I'm going to try and like hurry through this reading while I'm like keeping an eye on her. Like,
okay.
See if I can be like everybody run away, aboard, or like what. Does my ritual end before she finishes the tuning?
So you are placing the cards, and when you finally get the final card in place, you see Wheel and Woe.
He's going to calmly collect his cards and just take a reasonable 30 feet step back
Mm-hmm.
and watch intently.
Gotcha. Astrid, so you have this mace, so you're kind of like feeling out its energies. Give me an Arcana check.
Alrighty. See if Astral will let me do that.
Is it being a bugger today?
It's just kind of really slowly going through pages where it goes down and then it goes back up very slowly. Alright. There we go. Nope. That's not what I wanted. Grr. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. It's
No worries.
like 1, 2, and 3, back and forth. And all I want to do is just press one little thing. And I don't have any dice handy. I'm not that cool.
Do you want me to roll for you?
Yeah. Would you?
I think I got a die here.
Okay.
Uh, 12 plus whatever your...
Probably 3. No, Arcana. Yeah, 3. 15. You are a little more versed with the magics. And so this is a rather rare type of magic now. Radiant magic. Like you have some sort of access to it. You have the ability to learn a few spells that have it, but most radiant magic, as far as you know, is lost
Hmm.
and usually connected to the gods.
Okay. Do I know what kind of gods at this point? Or is that still something I have to figure out?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Are there
As
like...
you're
No, go ahead.
well, as you're finishing, you see 2 people walk in the door. The Duke and Morn.
I immediately want to turn and run up to Morn and give him a hug.
Morn's gonna kind of like, he's gonna look very uncomfortable.
Dragon just shrugs.
Kind of like pats on the head, but like as he's patting you on the head, kind of try to push you. What's
Just
going on?
don't worry, you're gonna get used to it. It's fine.
So Chaz, before we interact with the Duke, I just want to ask a question.
Yes.
Are the gods an active thing, or are they gone?
Right. So, the gods, like, if you're like a history buff, a history scholar, you do know of a time that they, much like Faerun, that the gods were present and there were clerics, and then people got their certain powers from the gods. That was a long time ago.
Gotcha.
The knowledge of gods is still like people know that the gods exist, but with the increased arcane powers that like a 5-year-old has, per se, they're not really present. Like even in the school, like there are no clerics. Paladins aren't so much religious warriors as they are arcane fighters who base their like techniques off of the paladins of old.
Gotcha.
So it is very, very rare to see someone with religious apparel. And give me an intelligence check. You can do this. Yep, and that's all you know.
Oh.
Yay! Nope, that's all I got, sorry.
Here's a question for Astrid. When you ran out to hug Morn, were you still holding the mace in your hand?
Yes, because I'm very proud of it.
So the Duke looks around and then stares directly at you and is like, "What? Why are you robbing me?"
I'm not robbing you. Look how cool this thing is. It loves me.
No, that is my mace that I had in my armory.
It's very
Why are
shiny.
you robbing?
It is very shiny. Can you tell us about the mace?
It is
And I'm
shiny.
going to hold on to it.
He's gonna like reach out and kind of like try to ease it from your hand. Are you gonna?
I'm gonna look at it and kind of show it around to everybody and like tell us more, please tell us more, and kind of like evade him a little bit.
We could write a report on this and get extra credit. This would be
You-
like extra credit.
You don't need to write a report on this. This will not get you extra credit. Please, can I have my mace back?
Ooh, shiny. Aaron's gonna like poke it.
Can I borrow it? Because it looks so shiny.
I would rather you didn't borrow it.
Can I convince him?
Give me a persuasion check, I guess.
Let's see if this works for me. Almost. Oh, nope. Astral's not working for me today.
Okay.
So
Do you know what your...
Here, hold on. Let's see if that did anything. Did it show up? No. Never mind.
Your last persuasion showed up.
It did?
Yeah, but like 2 minutes ago.
So eventually.
Like the screen is literally moving while I'm trying to hit persuasion. So I don't know.
I think I have access to your character sheet, and so I will roll
Nice.
persuasion. There you are. 13. So you try to convince him, but he seems pretty insistent that this mace should stay here in
I
the
want
vault.
to remind him that we helped him, and he was intending to get a whole bunch of people involved, and we came in and saved the day.
It is true. I mean, all your guards are dead, and all of your servants, and some small child. But we got rid of the strange goop that was in your fountain.
Which-
Mhm.
Warren's like sitting here like, huh?
There's a really large pile of bodies in a closet in here, but that's not really our responsibility.
Maybe the strange goop killed them. We don't know. There's not enough evidence. But we did take care of the goop.
I mean, you did help me, but you also came here without permission.
No, Peter said it was all right.
Pete, and he looks around, and in the corner, like scooping gold into his pockets, is Peter.
Oh, no.
Fucking Peter.
Like,
Peter's the best.
Duke, how are you doing? It's been a while. How long has it been, huh? Like two. I mean,
It's been like a couple of hours, Peter.
yeah, so many hours. And with the Duke, you want to spend as much time as you can because you're so wise and so forgiving, so forgiving. And the Duke looks at you like, you know, Peter cannot give you permission, right? I'm willing to overlook you all stealing from me because you helped, but I still have to report this.
So wait, when I said, hey, we should go help him out, and then Peter was like, no, don't tell him or do it in secret.
And then Peter like jumps in front of you, hand over mouth. I would never, ever say that. That's not what happened. I said that perhaps what we should do is do a scouting thing, because I think with my 2 days in the ninja class, I am officially allowed to do scouting, and I can deputize 1 to 6 people, and this is less than 6, so it is fine. You weren't in the ninja class, so you don't know.
Yeah, he did deputize as a
He did.
deputy.
He did.
He did not.
Deputed. No, wait.
Yeah,
Yeah,
technically-
he did that
technically he
thing.
did not. He put it off.
He put it off, and he never got the chance to officially deputize you.
Yeah.
That's not what he said when we were on the bridge. He was like, remember when I Wait, he didn't.
He didn't. I thought he did.
I was going to do it before we had to do the paperwork. It's fine. Duke, you have nothing to worry about. And he like walks over to the Duke, and you can see like gold coins falling from his pockets. And
I mean, I want to believe that our intentions had been to help you, because clearly this castle was under some kind of spell or influence. You already knew that. That was common knowledge.
it
But we found
was.
about people outside. There was a child that had been abducted. There's a lot. There is very circumstantial, and we had to help.
That's
Because
why I wanted
that's
a
our duty.
professional, because they would have been able to find out what the problems were.
But you had a professional. I mean, Peter's like higher than a teacher at the school, and he was here with us, and we did figure it out.
And the Duke kind of walks up to you and kind of like a whispering like distance, like just super close, and just kind of whispers, "Do you think Peter is important in this school?"
Well, yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah.
He's very important.
I feel like I have to put that in my report too.
I mean,
He is
any support.
calm, supportive, knowledgeable, patient. He's kind.
And if
He
you
is
want
a
to put,
benefit.
praise for Peter in your report, that's great.
Oh God. I think we should put all the things back. And he looks at you, Astrid, and then Peter, who is doing his best Uo impression. Big smile.
Sure.
Cherubic.
Right?
Big cherubic smile.
Can I do an
I like
in?
nodding to him while I kind of like go to put the mace back and see if I can't just kind of shove it just in my clothing so he can't tell.
I will say,
Distracted by
I'll
Morn.
say, give me a sleight of hand check. I will say the fact that there won't be a mace on the pedestal will be a dead giveaway.
Hey, could I do it?
Big.
Could I do an insight for his like reaction about how he's like, no, don't put that in your. You don't need to like talk about the mace.
Yeah, give me an insight check on that. Oh. Once again, Trogheim knows one thing about people. Trogheim knows fear. And that was a fearful response. Like how quickly it responded, like how rapidly like the words were repeated. It wasn't you shouldn't do this, this won't give you extra credit points, therefore it's not worthwhile. This was you don't want to do this, there will be ramifications that you don't want to deal with. Also ramifications that I don't want to deal with. So don't do it.
So while he's like so close, Trogheim will say, we could just not mention the mace if that report talks about how awesome we were in helping you to clear your castle of all of its dangers.
Give me an intimidation check with advantage.
Oh my god.
So he looks at you and says, is that something else you learned from Peter?
I mean, maybe.
And then he just walks off. Are you actually going to try to steal the mace or slip it into your...
I wanna look at everybody and give them like the nod and eyebrow up, like should I? And see what everybody says.
You notice Trogheim's not quite looking at you. She looks a little disappointed in herself and just kind of walks out of the room.
All right. I'm gonna head over and put it back, but do it just very ceremoniously. And I'm gonna pat it like, you are so pretty. I wish you were mine.
And he is willing to cast a teleportation so that you can get back to the school.
We don't have to walk.
Warren's like, I just got here.
All right.
All the fun's over, though.
No more Smash.
Are you certain, Duke, that you can no longer use our services?
I appreciate what you've done. Because of that, I will be generous. I will be very thankful in my report that you all came and got rid of the evil that plagued my castle.
Well, I mean, maybe you could also take us out to dinner. Oh, and is there a possibility of checking out your library? And can I check out a book? Can I borrow a book on healing from you?
You know what? I think you can. Yeah. He goes in and spends like 5 minutes like rummaging around and brings back a book. It is called White Mage for Dummies. She gives you and is like, based on what I've seen from you, like this will be a very different type of healing, but it would never hurt to learn multiple forms of healing.
I thank you. I thank you so much. And now at least I've got something to hold on to.
By the way, do you still have Celine out?
I do still have Selena. Selena was walking around the maze with me originally.
That is excellent. I'm just going to do a quick thing. Please ignore it. Because you, in general, have control over Celine. This is true.
In general.
In general. And if you tell her to do a thing, she will always do it. But if you haven't told her to do a thing for a while, they kind of do their own thing. Celine more so than Eos. Eos is a little more chill. Celine, without the caffeine, is pretty hyper. But she's still like highly caffeinated. And so as you all get in the teleportation circle, you see Celine running out with a very familiar mace in her mouth.
Truckheim will giggle and like pull out those coffee beans.
Yeah.
Celine, bring it here.
Do this? Is it just me?
I mean, well, you definitely see because you're like connected to her. I mean, I think anyone other than the Duke would see it because she's running from behind the Duke, whereas you're all like facing the Duke, so you see her running with the mace in her mouth.
All right. So I wanna help her like jump into my arms. Like I wanna hold my arms behind me and have her just jump in with the mace.
So I'm going
see if it can get past everybody.
I'm going to do a sleight of hands check for you to see how slick you are with this.
Oh dear.
And while this is all going on, Trogheim's just like talking about all of the action that Morin missed. in the way that like you really should have been here, Morin, but since you weren't, we did this stuff anyway. And it was awesome.
So Astrid, you rolled a 3 with your sleight of hands check. So you can easily get Celine to like get to your hand, but what you don't do is give yourself enough leeway to have the mace hidden behind your back as well.
Okay.
And as the final rune is being put in place and the Duke is casting the spell, he notices the mace and like, hey, wait! And you all teleport.
Oh, he's not in the circle with us?
Oh, no, he was staying in his house.
That's awesome.
So we've got the mace in our teleportation circle, but he notices that we have it.
Yes.
Fantastic. Does he realize it was Celine who brought it, or did he just see it like
He
on the
doesn't
ground?
realize that it was Celine who brought it, but he does know that it is in your possession.
Okay. Fantastic.
Uo nods sagely.
As it was foreseen.
As it was 14.
14.
But he does go, oh, that's what the woe is part. That's the woe part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna look at Celine and say that was a bit naughty. But since it's here now, maybe borrow it for a little while.
And she-
Celine is not gonna get in trouble for this.
And see, you all teleport back to school. What would you like to do? It's about like noon-ish, we'll say.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we didn't really sleep. No, we left early this
Yeah,
morning, didn't
you
we?
slept with
Yeah,
Peter at Peter's house
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
or Peter's shack.
I mean, I would be totally fine with walking Peter home to make sure he gets there safely and to get some more of that amazing coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in agreement. Celine would also like some coffee.
Okay. So you offer to walk Peter home. Are you going to let him know that coffee is part of the motivation to go home?
I mean, if he hasn't caught it by the time we walk, because she's talking about it pretty much nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah, she mentions it a few times.
So Peter's like, I mean, I can definitely make you all the best coffee. I will say that I didn't do the official paperwork to remove you all from class because I was so intent on saving that poor castle.
It's okay. I'm
So-
sure that once Uso hears about our amazing heroics, we might not even have to have class for the rest of the week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's understanding. All right, let's go.
Poor Trondheim. Why is she so
I'll
gullible?
go to get some coffee.
Are there any stops between coffee?
I mean, coffee is delicious, and we kind of earned it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking no.
All right. So you make your way there, pretty uneventful. Morn, you walk to Peter's house. And house is a very strong word for what this place is. It's more like 3 planks of wood, like just laying on top of each other. It has the shape of a house, but multiple holes. The door is kind of like resting there rather than like how a door should be. But there is coffee here, and at least according to Trondheim, it is amazing.
I mean, to be fair, Warren did have the swill that was in the dorm and thought it was all right. So we'll see how this goes.
I mean,
I'm assuming Morn's going to be like,
likes it.
it tastes good. It tastes kind of like the other swill, a little different, but
Like it has flavor.
Can't tell that it has superior roast. I mean, this is delectable.
So how long are you going to spend with Peter this afternoon?
I kind of want to sit and look at that book with Peter. I want to see if Peter can give me some pointers because I believe that he's so superior.
So you sit down with Peter, who says, "Oh, I was a white mage for 2 weeks." So I know all about this book. I'm going to roll an Arcana check for you there with disadvantage to see if you can discern the white mage for. Okay. There are a few times where you think Peter is making things more complicated than it has to be, but you realize that it's probably because Peter understands something on a deeper level that you have yet to understand.
Oh no. Okay.
But it does take a while to like push through the first like chapter of the book.
Sure.
What is-
Mhm. While Peter's doing that, can I can I discreetly lay out some cards, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to cast Zone of Truth.
Mm-hmm.
Which believe everyone makes a charisma saving throw. Against the Zone of Truth.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Hold on.
DC 13.
Oh wow.
Charisma.
Poor Peter.
Ua's not going to say anything about it. He's basically using the Zone of Truth as a means to kind of read the cards.
Yeah.
To read Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if anyone else picks up on Peter's, I guess, shift in speech, I guess that's.
I mean, Trondheim's just like going on and on, telling Morn about how Peter is amazing at so many things. He took assassin classes, and he took gunbreaker classes, and he took black and white and blue mage classes, and I think he was a whatever Uo is for a couple of weeks. I don't know if Morn would understand this, and as a player, I know what I'm talking about. But Trondheim is super impressed. But really, he got a 2-year degree in general arts, so he's not really good at anything.
Morton's a little confused, or maybe me as a person's confused. Did the last session you all get really obsessed with this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I keep looking at my notes. Like, did I not write something down? Like who is this person?
So you would have seen, like, Peter was the guy who gave you the tour when you first came in. There was, like, in the first like session, someone came in to talk to like the dean and was like, something's happening. Like, that was Peter. There was a guy who was cleaning up the blood in the like artifact room. That was Peter. Peter is essentially an assistant to the school because he technically graduated, but he spent about 1 to 2 weeks in each program. According to the group, it's because he was so great. He like mashed them in that time. It is possible that there is another explanation as to why he spent such a short amount of time in each like class thing.
Okay. So at the last session, everybody got to know him real well. Then is what.
Yeah.
Well.
Like,
Some roles were made badly, and so Trondheim is just like, this guy knows everything.
I think the quintessential Peter interaction was when they were fighting. There was a child, and Peter was like, I have to shoot the child. And they were like, no, don't do it. And then on the next turn, it was like an obelisk, like an ooze creature. And Peter was like, am I allowed to shoot the ooze, though? And they're like, yes! And he's like, I gotta be sure, because I don't want to mess up. That is kind of who Peter is.
Okay. Okay. I think I got it now. I'm not sure if Morns is impressed. It takes a lot to impress Morn.
Yeah, I don't think Peter is going to be the one to impress more.
Do I know if Peter succeeded or failed on that?
I mean, as of now, he's in conversation with Astrid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the conversation isn't one that you'd be able to discern things because he's not like explaining the book.
Yeah.
He's more talking about what happened in his first week of White Mage.
Hmm.
And even that, it's not actually stuff that happened in class, but he was like, yeah, that's where I found the coffee. I went to this like town and I bought the coffee there.
Can Astrid like guide his thought process so he's learning with her with the book?
You could give it a shot. I'll have you do a straight up intelligence check. Okay, 15.
I can do that.
You're trying. Something seems off.
Does it seem like I'm teaching him or while we read together?
As you try to explain, he seems to be avoiding all like talk about White Mage and is just talking about his experiences as a student and his experience of life while he was a student. So you learned that was not the first time he had a run-in at that particular restaurant.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna thank him and sit over in a corner and just kind of like read the book on my own.
He'll follow you.
I'm gonna thank him profusely, and you know what? I'm gonna start reading out loud because maybe his learning style is different. So I'm gonna read it out loud, so it's general knowledge of what it is that I'm reading. And, call Aos over and like we're just gonna have a little sit down group read like preschool.
So
Little crisscross applesauce.
he'll catch on and kind of sit down and attempt to listen, but every like 30 seconds he'll like chime in and be like, "Oh, did you say the word white? Did I tell you about that time I bought a white suit? It was actually brown." And so like
It was just a light.
yeah, it's just a light that like reflects. It was.
Oh my god.
Morn, is there anything you would like to do while you're drinking this coffee and hearing Peter ramble?
No, I think he's just kind of gonna watch and listen. He's feeling not necessarily suspicious, but
Mm-hmm.
not feeling impressed with Peter. He's kind of just watching him, but he's not doing it in a subtle way.
Right.
He's doing it in a very awkward, like deadpan staring kind of way.
Beautiful.
Too much eye contact and not enough blinking.
So in the middle of the white suit story, he kind of looks at you and like finally recognizes that you're like staring at him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I haven't offered you my services. Do you know I was a dark knight for an entire day, and I can like really teach you what it means to harness the darkness."
Yeah, more like a day. I was born with the darkness.
So, well, yeah.
Came out of the womb with the darkness.
Give me a charisma check. I wanna see a thing.
I say a weirdness check because that was kind of a weird thing to say. Hold on. Come on, Astral. It's giving me choose to do the thing. Okay, here we go. Oh, come on. Did it go? Did I click the right thing?
Oh, you clicked the mod. Not you have to click the red one, I think.
There we go.
Oh.
There we go. Oh, that's not much better.
Not much better at all.
So charismatic.
So you say you were born with the darkness, and Pete responds, "Yes, I can see you were born with the darkness, but I can show you how to harness your darkness."
Trogheim looks over. It's true. He can. He's amazing. He taught me how to make this, and she holds up a bullet-looking thing that's wrapped in a napkin and has some matches taped to it.
Yeah, Morn is saying, you can try to teach me. I mean, I will listen, but I'm not thinking you know much about the darkness, Peter.
And there's this look of almost insult on his face, like, how could you? And as he walks away, you hear on the door a knock. And a very familiar voice. Peter, do you have my students again?
Oh, it's Uso. I can't wait to show her this.
And Peter jumps out. No, remember, we don't show Uso what we've made. Peter, I can hear you.
I'll go open the door.
And she's outside, tapping her feet, arms crossed, very upset.
I'm going to hold up my amazing... I'm trying to figure out where it came from, because I know I expended all of my munitions, and then Uo granted me one, but I didn't see where it came from, so I'm just like, I must have lost this one or something.
Somewhere, yeah.
So, having wrapped this one in matches and a napkin, I hold it in front of her. Behold! My fire munition.
Eat that. That is your fire munition?
Well, yeah. Peter helped me make it.
Where is Peter?
I turn around and look.
No, don't see him.
He was just here.
Healing book and look, I'm learning so much from this.
She looks at you and is like, I've tried with you all.
I didn't like him. Morn's gonna kind of be like, wait, hold on.
Like, I was.
Don't involve me in this.
But I heard from the Duke that you all snuck down to his castle.
No, we didn't sneak. We talked to him, and then we went there. And Peter said it was all right. Oh, but I wasn't supposed to say that.
I think they have been hoodwinked. Morn can sense it.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage. She kind of stands there, like, looking. Ooh.
Wow.
And you see her, like, demeanor soften, like, just a tad. Where she's like, it's possible I have not been here for you. And Peter, like, took up the role of mentor, apparently.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
And gave us extra credit.
So let me make this clear. Peter is not your mentor. He cannot give you extra credit. What? And you should never use those non-flammable napkin munitions.
But it worked.
Yeah, of course it worked until it doesn't.
Does this mean that you want me to figure out another way to make them?
Yes, I also want you to come to class every once in a while.
But we were in extra credit class today. She like scuffs her foot on the ground and goes sits down and stares at her napkin match munition.
And Uso's like, look, I know we got off on the wrong foot. I just want to make sure things work out. So I'll tell you what I'll do. You all have to take one remedial class next week. But,
Everybody,
is Peter your mentor?
oh,
No, you're fine.
yeah.
But if you agree to do that, I will see if I can pull some strings and have you follow me on a mission I am conducting today. We'll consider it.
Sounds exciting.
What's the thing you want? Extra credit?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, also, you cannot talk to Peter again. Or that's not true. He's fucking harmless, I guess. Do not learn from Peter.
Does that mean we have to unlearn what we have learned from
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
She begins
Yesterday,
scraping off
impossible.
the tape and the matches.
And she hands you 2 munitions. These are fire munitions. Use these if you don't want to set yourself on fire.
But it looks like what's the difference before I say anything?
The outside looks exactly the same.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, but this looks the same.
Yeah,
It's not-
they should look the same. It's the inside that matters.
Trogheim looks very confused.
Well, you figure that out, and I suggest you go to sleep. I'll be back at your place at 2 a.m.
It's early.
Does anyone have a hammer I can smash this open with so I can see what's on the inside?
She turns around. Don't smash it.
Gosh.
Trogheim, you
Gosh.
hear in your head. Don't worry, I have a hammer. I'll get it back to you as soon as I come back.
Peter?
Don't say my name.
Not Peter?
Don't say anything. And Uso is kind of staring at you. Just 2 a.m. And she leaves. And about 2 minutes after she leaves, Peter squeezes through one of the cracks in the back of the house. It's like, oh my God, can you believe it? I almost caught a bird and it got out of my hands, but next time I'll catch it for sure. Oh no, where did Uso go?
What do you need a bird for?
You know, sometimes you just gotta catch a bird. It doesn't matter. I brought you a hammer.
Oh, thanks.
So what will you all do for the remainder of the night?
I'm going to relax and read that book and see if I can't learn some spells or something. Knowledge.
can, but you get the feeling because you don't really have a background in it, you'll have to read the whole book to get any benefit, and that will take some time.
Okay, so I'm going to start.
Okay.
Read like chapter 1 and 2, and I have to reread it because it was really confusing to read it with Peter.
Yeah.
And there's a good long while that Trogheim sits there with the munitions in front of her, with the hammer in one hand, just like staring at it. And she like goes and like raises the hammer, and then gets a very like thoughtful look on her face and stops. So she's gonna end up not hitting it with the hammer.
Yeah.
But for a while, it looks like she's going to.
It's a difficult
Really?
decision. Morn.
Orn's going to sit and contemplate the darkness. Prepare for their extra credit, or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah. Uo.
What time is it?
Right now, it's about like 5 o'clock or 6, I should say.
And she wants us up at 2?
Yep.
8 hours is what? 6. Be 6, right? So I could probably do like 6 hours, probably. I could probably get away with 6 hours. I'm sure
Yeah.
if I was 6 hours.
You get it with 6.
I'm gonna go to the library. I'm gonna go
Ooh.
read up on some God stuff.
Okay. Give me a religion check with disadvantage.
Religion disadvantage. Can I do guidance on myself with this?
Yes.
Drawing a card. Guidance.
Okay, that's nice. So there are no books on gods in the library at all. In fact, like with that role, the only thing you can find is a sort of history of the paladins. And certain sections they do make reference to some gods, particularly gods of like law and order, gods of like light.
What kind of weapons do paladins usually favor? Are there many depictions of paladins with maces?
Depictions of paladins with maces, no. Most of the pictures have like modern day paladins, all of whom use sword and shield.
Are there any references on ancient artifact weapons? I know that we have like a artifact like hall that I don't think we've had access to yet. Entirely.
Right. So there is if you like look around for like ancient weapons, you do find a decent amount that are ancient and are religious in nature. In fact, you learn some interesting information, like the sword that was stolen was an ancient, like, holy blade.
Are there any other maces of disruption, or is there like only like one copy of each of these things that's known about?
For all the weapons in the artifact room, there are only one copies. Because this was not found in the artifact room, you are not sure, but you don't find any like book that says if they were mass produced or not.
Huh. I'll take that information back to the group. Do a little elementary school book report. While laying out cards, in a pattern, kind of scanning them, while he's ritualistically casting augury to determine whether or not in the next 30 minutes it is a good idea to trying to think of the best way to word this. Because have we seen the mace yet?
I mean, you all saw Celine bring it to Astrid.
Yeah, I think like in the next 30 minutes, if it's a good idea to like, since she's been with it for a while, to like maybe run a general series of tests to see if like she's glowing or growing an appendage or like shooting lasers out of her face.
Right.
You know, like people like
Although her
magical-
rabbit does that, so is that weird? I don't know.
Yeah, we was not entirely sure, but like he's going to just do an augury to see kind of what the likelihood of like doing an investigation on this will turn into a bad thing.
So you get wheel in that
Wheel.
augury.
Ah, well, in that case, he pops up immediately from where he was doing the reading and doing, of course, simultaneously the book report about these other weapons, and they don't have copies. He doesn't think, and the sword was like possibly religious, probably religious, not really sure about the god. The mace over there, I mean, probably wasn't part of that collection, but like it's part of the bigger, like broader collection. And how do you feel right now? Are you okay? Do you feel any like connections to the beyond? Think that maybe you're a star, maybe part of a constellation, maybe connected to the moon,
Can
maybe
I tell?
like the moon. Are you tied to maybe like feel like more like a rock?
Can
Is
I
it nature?
tell
Is it
if I
nature
feel
spirit?
any different?
Not with a 5, you can't. I don't know.
He's going to begin
Okay.
ritualistically casting detect magic, using his cards to guide him in this investigation.
Would you have detected magic on your friends before? Anytime.
No, I think this is the first time I've cast it amongst the group.
Okay. So there is a magic aura around her, one that you actually have never seen before.
Can I tell what school it's from?
Give me a religion check. I'm really glad you didn't say it out loud, so Targain doesn't have to say, "Well, Porta Tempora, stupid." That's what
Transmutation.
Transmutation. Huh. Transmutation. Oh, no. Wait. Okay. Well, She doesn't have any, like, things growing out of her, like a second head, a third eye.
Doesn't look like it.
So can I
Markings.
tell that there's something maybe wrong with all the attention that he's giving me?
I mean, he's a weird guy. Like,
And he keeps flipping through cards and, like, pulling them up and holding them up at you and then looking at the card and, like, muttering to himself.
You're such a sweet child. Thank you. Is this a gift?
Consider it a gift. Yeah, it's like triage kind of. Can you commune with it? Does it speak?
Not yet.
Have you tried?
I have not tried.
And he stares at you intently.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold it up like between us and like look how pretty it is. See if I can't commune with it.
so you try to commune with it, and doesn't seem to respond. And Peter's like, you're doing it wrong. You have to hold it upside down, and then you have to be above it for it to work. Because if you're like looking at it like an equal, let me show you how it's done.
So I hand it to Peter.
And he turns it upside down and puts it on the ground and says, "Oh, hearken, ye great mace! Allow me to venture upon thine warrior's path." This mace is broken. Sorry, it's broken.
I'm gonna take it back from Peter.
Do you still have that detect magic up there?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's like, what is it?
Should be
minute,
10.
10 minutes.
10 minutes, maybe? Yeah, 10 minutes. Peter is now also with this weird coloration of this weird aura.
Did he have it before?
Nope.
He picked it up?
Nope.
Oh. Out of curiosity, I'm going to ask Astrid to touch the surface of that wall over there, that plank. Touch that plank.
And say, okay, and hold on to the mace in one arm, and and just put my other arm up to the wall. And I'm going to think about coffee.
It's a pretty weak wall, but nothing out of the ordinary happens.
So now touch the mace of the wall.
Okay, I'll go ahead and take the mace. Touch the wall. I'm still thinking about coffee.
Nothing really happens.
Go hug Morn.
Oh,
Walk over to Morn and give Morn a hug.
Try to push you off.
Does Morn begin to glow?
Nope.
This may be the most important question of today. Is Celine glowing like that?
That is an interesting question. I'm going to say no. Celine is not glowing.
Damn.
Is there any kind of like debris that I could hit with the mace that wouldn't actually hurt Peter's living arrangements?
Peter's house looks like if a strong enough breeze came, it would no longer be a house. So take that for what it's worth.
Okay, so I don't want to hit anything in Peter's house, but I want to open his front door and see if is there anything in front that I could pick up, like a stone or
Yeah.
Okay, I want to take a stone and bring it in between all of us, and then like hit the stone, and just still thinking about coffee, and see what happens.
So you hit the stone. To you, nothing happens. To Uo, it glows for a second and then dims.
The stone or the mace?
The stone.
Uo is going to reach out and touch the mace?
Okay. Give me a religion check.
Religion! So religious! Most religious! Let's see.
That's excellent.
Super religious!
Upon touching it, you finally figure out what it is. This magic, upon spending a large amount of time, you're not sure what the exact amount of time is, but upon spending a large amount of time infesting someone or something, it disintegrates that person.
Oh, wow.
Wait, what? Like,
Mace?
if you're like holding it, how long you disintegrate, or like it disintegrates things?
If it seems like with your natural one.
Oh.
If
Like Uo backs away immediately. Is he like infested?
You touch the mace, yeah, you have that like magic on you.
Uh, he tells the bastard, you have to put that on the ground and back away.
I'll
You
listen.
may
I
not
have
have very long.
for Uo.
So you put it on the ground. Peter picks up like, no. It can't be completely on the ground. You have to kind of stand it up. And he like hands it to you like, no, like hold it and like stand it upright when you talk to it.
Now, was I able to fully attune to her, or just partially in that time?
You never did. You were like pretty close.
Okay. I'm gonna sit and try and attune to it a little bit more.
Uo's going to hurriedly like start laying out his cards again for another augury ritual, to see if she holds on to this longer than or like up to the next 30 minutes. Is it gonna like disintegrate her?
Okay, so you're doing a ritual, so it's going to take the 10 minutes. And you get wheel.
Wheel.
Yep.
Wait, maybe this is like transcendence. Maybe it's like the key to like entering the stars. Like maybe that unlocks like the space-time continuum. Maybe this is the key to wishing.
Could be.
Uo scoops up his cards and sits and stares expectantly.
And at the end of the 30 minutes, you are attuned to the Mace of Disruption.
And while Uo's been going on about all this, Trogheim's been completely confused. And then she goes back to trying to like squeeze lasers out of Celine again and explaining to Morn, the rabbit shoots lasers out of its mouth. Watch.
Do you tell Celine that's what you're doing?
No, not at all. But I'm telling Morn that's what Celine does. And then squeeze, but nothing happens.
So this is what's going to happen, right? Celine is sassy. And if someone squeezes her, she's going to shoot lasers out of her mouth to stop the squeezing.
Yes!
Excellent.
So Astrid is there attuning to this mace, while Uo has the cards out, and then Trogheim, you run up and you're like, more, watch this. You pick up Celine and you squeeze her once, nothing. You squeeze her twice, she looks back at you like, what is happening? And then you do a nice big squeeze and she shoots a phalanx, a laser beam out of her mouth, hitting the wall. Yes. I'm going to need you to roll me a d20 there, Trogheim.
Is it a specific thing or is it just a d20?
Just a d20.
Sure. At least something she said today worked out. 18.
Excellent. So you watch as the laser goes through one of the beams that might have been a pillar for this house.
Yeah.
And Peter just watches you and is like, okay, we can stop this. We can stop this. And as he's running over, you hear the crumbling of Peter's house.
Oh.
That makes me feel bad. Inside. Like, we need to fix this.
Trogheim. As the house is crumbling around us more, and all you can see is Trogheim smiling in satisfaction as the bunny shoots her laser. Yes!
Oh my god!
So, it is about 6 hours until Uso is expected to return to your dorm. Are you going to go to sleep?
Like after we crawl out of the wreckage, or?
I mean,
Lower.
like, your dorm is like a 5-minute walk from his once shack.
Yeah.
I think we should invite Peter to come with us and stay at our place since we ruined his place.
More kind of like.
And so we can figure out a situation when we get back for him.
You know, I'm actually all right with that as long as the coffee maker made it, and
That's a good
and
question.
as long as he brings the coffee maker with him.
Dig out the coffee maker and the coffee.
So Peter says, I think I probably shouldn't. I shouldn't go back in the dorms. Once you graduate, you don't go back in the dorm. So I'm just gonna.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna stay here, and you see him
I
like
mean,
kind
it
of
was really there was too much room for just one person anyway. So this is really more your size now.
exactly. You see him like kind of like move some like planks of wood off the bed, and kind of like make them to be blankets on him.
Oh, Peter, he's always rolling with it, making the best out of the situation.
Peter is the best sport ever. I want to take a couple of boards and try and just set them up like a lean-to, just barely like, I don't know what to do, and just kind of make them a little lean-to, and I feel pretty proud of myself. Like I saw some design somewhere, and this is what it said to do,
And you may.
and I'm putting that up for him, and like nodding at him, and like looking at Peter as I'm doing it, like, hey, you should do this too.
It's impressive what you were able to do.
And he's gonna need it more than I will, so I will hand back the hammer.
And he takes it and says, thank you.
Thank you for all of the things you taught us yesterday and today.
Forever grateful. Forever grateful.
And Warren's gonna kind of like toe the records a little bit and be like, if you really knew the darkness, you wouldn't need good above your head to sleep.
Ooh. Peter looks at you and is
Just
like,
leave the sky.
you know what, Warren? You are right. I forgot my two days of Dark Knight training. I will remember your lesson. Thank you, Warren. And he bows to Warren.
Oh, wow.
Warren appreciates that.
Trogai like gives Morin like that playful arm punch. You got his attention. That's awesome.
Kind of like twitch when you touch him.
So what's the plan? We're going back to go to sleep?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we make sure that we do in fact have that coffee pot and
I mean, you'll have to search through the rubble to get it.
And he's not going to come with us, so I'm not going to make him give us his coffee pot. I'll just come visit him tomorrow to get coffee.
even though your house is demolished, will you make us coffee again?
I'll bring the water.
Okay. All right, I'm good to head back then.
Yep.
Okay, so you all head back and you go to sleep in your fine, not demolished house. And at around 1:57, Uso comes knocking at your door.
Does that give us a long rest?
Yes.
Okay.
Had you stayed to search for the coffee pot, that would have taken you an hour, and that would have prevented that.
Totally fair.
When waking up and when Uso comes to the door, I want to open up the door and ask if it's coffee.
She looks at you and is like, you have 2 minutes. Let's go.
My eyes pop up when you say coffee. Hmm? Did she bring coffee?
No. No coffee. No coffee. And
I
she
miss
says 2
Peter.
minutes. We have 2 minutes to get up.
I miss Peter being our teacher.
Peter
All
gave us
right.
coffee.
What was that, Uo?
Oh, he will rise. He is ready. Flashes a cherubic smile. Walks out the door.
All right. So I'm assuming there are no like preparations you need to make.
I mean, like daily preparation of spells, but
Right.
we can just stick with the spells we had from yesterday if we don't have enough time to change them up, right?
That's true. Yeah. All right then. And so she will like hustle you all back to the gate, and takes you to a very familiar place. This was the place where you met the sword wraith.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh,
the
that
lake.
guy. It's so pretty out.
It is pretty. It is oddly
Dark.
quiet, and like it is 2 a.m. But even at 2 a.m., there should be like some noise.
Mm. Is it dark?
It is pure darkness.
I will.
Lauren isn't nervous at all.
I'll ask her what the mission is.
Apparently there's been a few zombie sightings, so we need to drop them quickly.
So just to clarify, we're supposed to kill the zombies, right?
All the zombies. Kill instantly.
Is it more than one?
We don't know. We just got reports that there were zombies, witnesses of zombie seen throughout the night. Figured I'll just take care of it at night. That way the populace doesn't need to be involved. So yes, if you all see a zombie, feel free to kill it. Jeremy, would you switch to the battle map?
Too late. I already did it.
Wow. So you are here in the middle of the town, very quiet, very close to where you arrived. Is that place where you got coffee last time?
It's right down the street.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like we should
This
get
is the
some
same
coffee.
town we were in before.
Yep.
Isn't it like 2 a.m. though?
Like it's a 24-hour coffee house.
Might not be.
Because this is a college. There's often 24-hour coffee houses in a town with a college.
Are there? I wonder if that place we got coffee from last time is still open.
It might be. It might very well be. Because people can go and study and drink coffee. Try it out. I want to check it out and see if there's a 24-hour coffee house.
We
So
should go
that-
check for zombies over here. And
That house
points
is
towards that
this
house.
house. So I'm assuming you're all going to the potential 24-hour coffee house.
Sure.
Do you have this conversation in front of Uso?
Yes.
So she looks at you and just kind of rolls her eyes and just like, oh my god. And goes the other direction.
We will be right there. And we'll be looking for zombies the whole way. I'm shouting after her.
So you back the corner.
You said it's dark out, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna. So I've got a torch because I can't see.
I mean, it's like a town, so it's not completely dark. Like there
Gotcha.
are like town lights and like the stars. So like it's like how dark it is in a fairly large city. But as you bang the corner to knock on the door,
Yeah.
you see walking towards you a person that has tattered clothing.
Oh,
Zombie.
Zombie. Is this like a fresh zombie or like a heavily decayed zombie?
Good question.
Like,
It's definitely not super heavily decayed, like all the parts are there, but it has some decay on it. Maybe like 2 weeks to a month.
all right. Astrid is like overly excited over this and wants to send Celine to go attack the zombie while Astrid runs toward it.
Are you like yelling at all?
Yeah.
So you all see Asher just like squee with glee.
With the mace out, like I'm like excited that there's a mace involved and there's a zombie and we're gonna get extra credit.
So you bring. Let me see if I can get Celine out here. And Celine will do her. I'm assuming the Phalanx.
The Phalanx.
Here you are. Yep, that hits. And Trogheim, you see as this laser just kind of like goes right through the zombie's head.
Yes.
Excellent.
I mean, Celine wants her coffee too. There's like high incentive to get through this guy to get to the coffee house.
Right.
And so that zombie drops down.
Awesome.
Uo and Morn, make perception checks, please.
perceiving. Super perceptive.
Ooh.
Uo, you don't see much, but Morn, you're in the darkness. You feel comfortable in the darkness, and you're also very attuned to the darkness. And with this attunement, you notice that behind you, there are a few more zombies making their way to you.
Oh.
I think it's time to
Like,
roll initiative.
Alert.
Initiative.
Yeah, alert the others.
That
Oh,
yeah.
Others. Oh.
Truckheim's like dancing around, celebrating Celine, and is like grabbing more and like trying to like force more to look the way away from the zombies because she doesn't see the zombies, and trying to look at Celine. So that's why Morin's initiative is so bad.
Okay.
Okay, so let's roll for you. And bang. All right. Uo, as you're alerted, you look behind you, and there are
I didn't
indeed
mean to do.
Are indeed zombies, huh?
zombies.
Zombies.
Uo kind of like fans out a spread of cards from out beneath his sleeve, and the card, the Armored Knight, appears, and he is encased in a shimmering light as he casts Mage Armor. Then he is like, "Hey, there's some zombies over there," and he comes over here. And he will end his turn.
What do you want Celine to do?
I want her to turn back around and start running after these zombies as well, while thinking about coffee the whole time. And as she runs past Tragham, like, kind of give a little, like, elbow check, like, hey, what's up, buddy?
Okay, you can definitely do that. Zombie. Let's see. What? Going to go that way. Trogheim.
What? All right. I feel like Trogheim really wants to make this a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
And Uo really needs some help, so she's gonna run around Uo and be like, "Zombies! Zombies over here! Zombies!" And then I'm gonna pat Uo and be like, "Okay, now's your time. You can do this." That'll be her turn.
Okay. Let's see. Which zombie is closest to me?
Which zombie is closest to you? That would be Zombie 6.
Zombie 6. Okay. I would like to run over to Zombie 6, yielding the mace and, like, screaming at it as well, like screaming insults about how stinky they are, and then telling them, like, very, very fervently that they're interrupting our coffee time, and that's a big bummer. And I'd like to swing the mace at Zombie 6.
Can you make it there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you can. So let's see. Oh yeah, that definitely hits. So that would be. And so as you hit the zombie, you've never really used a mace before, so you don't know what to expect. But you don't expect when the mace touches the zombie how it just kind of like shears through it like a hot knife through butter.
Oh my god.
That's cool.
Astrid is jumping with glee, like, extra high because of this.
Are you still squealing?
And turns around. What is that gleeing?
So much squeal.
And then telling everybody, like, did you see that? Did you see that? That's amazing. Oh. Can I tell where, like, so there's a zombie 5 and 7 in front of me? Okay. Sweet.
Morn.
Okay. So, let's see. I'm having a hard time getting Astral to zoom here. Oh, there we go. Zoom it. Zoom. Enhance. Enhance. Okay. Let's see. Did she kill Zombie 6 with
Zombie
the
6
mace?
is
Did
gone,
that
yeah.
Dunzo. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, then I'll stick close to everybody for now because I feel this great need to protect everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to shoot Zombie 7 with his short bow. Hopefully. Oh!
No, sadly.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
You're used to like adjusting to someone when they dodge when they see you pulling their bow. Unfortunately, the zombie not really having a zest for life didn't feel the need to dodge. So when you adjusted, you just went zip, right past.
I think that's all.
Astrid, you see one of the zombies swing at you, but it doesn't really come close to hitting you.
Aw. I feel a little bad for the zombie, but I'm really grateful.
Speaking of which,
Around with Mondays.
give me a perception check.
Okay. And can I retaliate?
Nope. Perception. These zombies are wearing a very particular type of garb. One that you've seen before. It is the garb.
What kind of garb do I?
Actually, no. You have not seen it before. But it looks like some type of like weird school uniform.
Do they all have matching uniforms?
Yep.
Zombies?
Like their hand?
They all have some kind of school uniform on.
Oh.
Uniform?
Oh.
Does Uo
I
recognize
want everybody else notices those.
And everybody else
I
would recognize this uniform. Yep. It is the uniform of that rival school that tried to kill you
Bastards.
back during orientation.
Jerks.
They're trying to mess with our schooling so bad. They're killing their own students and turning them into zombies to send them after us.
Must be it. It's a logical explanation.
Right?
Absolutely.
Occam's razor.
Whoa, what do you want to do?
Uo draws another card, and this card depicts the man who exists between two worlds, and he casts blur upon himself, and
Ooh.
he kind of sidesteps over here and smiles in multiple dimensions at Trogheim.
When you begin like blurring, she kind of like she's like trying to like scoot you forward, and she like raises her hand. She's like, "Oh, what did I do?"
That's the wrong button.
Right. I didn't mean to break him.
Celine will once again Fey Laser. You are dead.
Holy crap, Celine.
Wow. Celine. She wants some coffee.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody get in the way. That trip in the morning.
Ooh, and Trogheim, you see from the south a zombie like is coming around the corner.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Now, it would be amazing if we had like theme music for the zombies and they were like coming in with all their matching uniforms. It'd be a
Trogheim,
great music video.
So shouting at the zombies to come over here, she's gonna move over by Uo. But she's gonna go ahead and shoot with gunner shot at 13 over here. That guy.
So you shoot and shout?
Yes.
Good to know.
So like as I'm like walking over there, I'm like, "Hey zombies, come over here!" So and then I shoot at number 13.
All
I'm
right.
trying to pretend I'm not seeing that map do the things that it's doing.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
Right. And I'm pretty sure that does in fact hit. And so you shoot this bullet that goes right through the zombie's head. Zombie 13, bang.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Astrid, what you got?
Astrid. Well, she's super excited over this mace. This is amazing, and she's never held anything this powerful. Like, she already knows. So Astrid is going to jump while holding the mace, and as she goes up, try and hit zombie number 5, and as she hops down, she's going to try and hit zombie number 11. And remember that there's always a 15 degrees of variant with her for some reason. So she's going to kind of like...
So I will say, you are not proficient with maces.
What?
So I will say you are not proficient with maces, and you definitely don't have the extra attack feature. So you can attempt that, but you will have some serious penalties to that attack.
No. Then she's going to rethink that, and she's going to attack zombie number 5, but still like on the way up and on the way down, but it might not like pan out on the way down.
Let's see if it survives long enough to be all the way down. Yeah, no, that definitely, once again, you just like carve a swath out of the flesh of this zombie.
Oh my god.
And Trog kind of gestures at Astrid and looks at Uo. Yeah, like that.
Morn.
Astrid's my own life right now.
Okay. Morn has been kind of just like filling himself with the darkness, staring at the sky, taking in everything, and he's going to run over to zombie 11 and try to stab it through the heart with his greatsword. If I can. My character sheet working, and then he's going to use one of his dark side points. I really hope this hits.
Oh yeah, that.
Oh my gosh.
That definitely hits.
Gross.
And so, like, even though there's a difference between your blade and Astrid's mace, you still cut through easily, as if like the darkness is actually doing the cutting, and your blade is just like right behind the darkness, like getting anything the darkness misses.
Excellent. Perfect.
Excellent.
Okay. I'm gonna, I guess stay put there in a defensive stance. That's it.
All
I
right.
see those guys around the corner. No,
Actually, yeah,
I
you
wouldn't
would
know.
like look and see there are a couple of zombies coming from behind that house that weren't there before.
Okay, I'm gonna warn everybody. Hey, more zombies coming from that way.
Yes, bring them on.
Zombies.
This one can get right up to you more, but cannot do anything else. Uo?
Uo is he is going to raise his hands and expand his celestial sphere and reach inside of it and pull a card. It's loading. I just need to roll a d6. Come on, Astral. You can do it. Can somebody roll me a d6?
I gotcha. That will be a 6.
That's 6. Perfect. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Believe. Yep. So he pulls out a card and it depicts the darkness. And he gestures over to Morn, and Morn, you feel even more in tune with the darkness. and you get your darkness point back.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And then he moves behind Trogheim. Oh no! See, yeah. There we go. We'll go right between Trogheim and Celine.
Celine will do what she does best. Yeah, zombie dead.
Lamb.
We should just let Celine mop the rest up for us.
I think you also killed zombie sick. How many have you all killed? There we go. Excellent. Trogheim.
Okay.
Why will you not? There we go. I'm assuming a 9 misses.
A 9 will miss.
Trogheim. I'm assuming 11 will also miss.
11 will miss.
Can get to more, but cannot do anything. Zombie, this one. Can also get to more, but cannot do anything.
Ooh.
This is a predicament. It's a pickle.
Trogheim.
So, can you clarify something for me?
I can, yeah.
Before our long rest,
Mm-hmm.
Uso came in and handed me 2 munitions.
Yes.
And then during my long rest, I filled my munitions.
Yes.
Does that mean I have 2 extra?
We will say, for the purposes of this one, because Uso gave them to you, you do have 2 extra, although those munitions can only be used as the fire.
Fire. Okay. Thanks for clarifying. Well, in that case, I'm going to leave Zombie 9 there for Uo to take care of. But I will attack Zombie 10. Oh, shit.
Oh.
That's because you're so afraid of hitting Zombie 9,
Yeah.
you kind of like pull your blade
Yeah.
and cause you to miss Zombie 10.
Well, you know, these things happen.
Yeah, every once in a while.
I'm so, like, stuck in teaching Uo how to be a warrior that I forgot to warrior myself.
Yeah, yeah. Astrid.
All right. Well, I'm still over the moon with this mace. So I want to hop over to, is that zombie 12? That's right by Celine.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and scream and lunge at zombie 12 and aim right for the head and take a swing.
So
Oh!
I was like, you swing and the zombie multiplies. What the fuck?
so
They're
you
everywhere.
So maybe I need to stop.
so unfortunately you do miss. But you look up and you see there are 3 zombies coming around the corner of the house.
Oh
Sure.
my gosh.
Morn.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I guess I'll swing at what zombie is the one directly to the left of me?
15.
15. Okay. Try to stab him in the chest with my greatsword. I will also use darkness. Darkness with that. In the darkness.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
And as you do this, Morn, and you like just sever this zombie, you see Uso running with her gunblade as she is like mouthing something, but you can't hear what she says.
Oh.
And she runs up to you.
Welcome.
She runs up to you and she's like, "You have to stop screaming. That's attracting all the zombies."
Yes!
And that's where we'll call it for today.
You said we had to take care of all of them.
Bring them to us.
Had to do this quietly. It was never said we had to be quiet.
Trondheim has so much to learn.
Oh God!
There are several times I feel like I need to apologize to my fellow players for Trondheim.
You haven't burned anyone down yet.
Yet. Oh.
So, any comments, complaints, concerns, conquistadors?
Oh, conquistador.
Conquistadors.
We missed out on coffee still.
Coffee, yeah. Yeah.
You never got to the house with the coffee.
We're not there yet. Oh
Next
my
time.
God.
We'll
then
we'll reach it next time.
Next time. But let's do the introductions, starting with Lindsay.
Hi everybody, I play Morn. I teach English writing. I blanked. What do I teach? Teaching online. I don't remember what I teach anymore, right? How to use Canvas. That's what I teach. And then I also am the editor and a writer for a Disney Parks travel site, and I'm a giant nerd.
Yay!
Yay!
Hey.
Next, let's go with John.
My name is John, and I play Uo, the astrologian, who is totally at peace because this has been foreseen. 1 million zombies. I make a whiskey in Ireland, and am also a giant nerd. Been playing D&D since '96. Take that, millennials.
Hey now.
Yeah, that's me.
Alrighty. Adela, let's go with you next.
Well, my name is Adela, and I play Astrid, a huge nerd, and not as fancy as these guys, but I make children's clothing and costumes, and love the D&D and all things Renaissance. So here we are.
And finally, the owner of the channel himself, Jeremy.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Hochhalter. I do own this here channel. If you're watching live on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, stop by on Wednesdays. Today's Wednesday, right? At 3:30? Is that what time we started? Eastern? To catch us live. Yeah. What do? I publish on DM's Guild and Drive Through RPG. You can find me on Twitter at WHPubs or on Facebook at WH Publications. And then on Fridays, Chaz and John and I are also in a live play set in the Scarred Lands called the Curiosity Cache, which I run and they play, and that is also a hoot. So stop by on Fridays and see us. And what about you, Chaz?
And I am the DMs, and I research video games and music and storytelling. That's what I do.
Yay.
Alrighty. But thank you all. Love playing with you all, and I look forward to playing again next week.
We'll
Huzzah!
see.
Huzzah!
Bye.